Hey everybody, my name is Perez Ramirez. Welcome to my channel. If you noticed, my last video must have been about 10 years ago, and it was my DP film reel from my master's. And it's pretty much, well, it's all Super 16, which I love, but embarrassingly enough, I haven't shot any film in any format since then, really. It's been a lot of digital work, some production work, but even the last couple years, that's kind of dwindled away, so I haven't really been behind the camera for a while. But especially in this last year, you get to reflect and you have a lot of time to yourself. So I decided to go back to my roots, which was still photography. And I was able to pick up a 35mm Canon AE-1, which is a great camera, an old reliable camera, some great lens options. Works really well as long as all the light guards are in place, there's no cracks in the system, which I wasn't 100% sure about until we got the scans, and they actually were pretty good. In addition to that, the camera came with 2 rolls of Tri-X 400 film, old reliable Kodak black and white stuff. This particular roll, not this one, but the one that I used for what we're about to see, expired in 2006. So I wasn't sure what was going to come out. I was expecting some grain. Now, a lot of the content is extra grainy, but I mean, anytime you're shooting film, whether it's video or photography, you kind of hope for pretty mistakes, and you take the gamble, you do the risk, you use your knowledge and your experience, and then see what comes out of it. And a lot of times it's pretty good. My buddy, Paulo Shishito, a great photographer, South Florida based, he told me that it's film looks beautiful in any format, and I kind of agree, but I mean, of course, there's some things that could just be a little too much. With that said, though, confidence is also key. So whenever you are taking those shots and you are getting your results, it's important to find the beauty in it and the beauty in your own skill. With that said, I'd like to thank the folks over at Print Lab Chicago and Silver Image Lab for getting me some great negatives. That's the purpose of film and video, or that's the goal at least, or I'm sorry, film and photography, to get great negatives, because then you can manipulate them however you want. With that said, I did leave the camera at 400 ASA, which matched the film speed of the camera. I didn't want to push or pull this particular roll because it already was so old and expired, and also I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen with the camera. So in retrospect, maybe I should have pushed it a little bit because I was dealing with so much low indoor light situations. But that was the goal. I really wanted to practice some low indoor light. I wanted to mess with contrast. I wanted to mess with shapes, with natural light mixed with sunlight. I'm sorry, natural light mixed with indoor light, and yeah, we'll see what we got. Aside from what we have here, I went ahead and I do have a couple close-up filters that I use for this guy. There's also a 35mm lens. This one's a 50mm lens, and just kind of mixed them all up, did what I could, and took some shots. So we'll go through them. Hopefully you enjoy them. The next few rolls are also going to be black and white, but after that, I hope to kind of venture into color. I do want to take some black and white portraits. However, it is winter in Chicago, and it is pretty gnarly out there. So for now, we're just going to kind of do what we can with what we got. So I hope you enjoy, and yeah, let's see what came out of this guy.
So we'll start off. With Jack. I really like this one, the silhouette that she gives off. It's a good, okay backlight. The close-up on her here is actually one of my favorites, even with the grain. I really do appreciate it. And this next one that we'll see of her lying down, I love the backlight again, even with the grain. She gets a good outline, which I appreciate a lot. It helps that she's black and white, but in this case, it doesn't, because this shot is almost useless. But then, I messed around a bit and got her again. I love this shot in particular, even though it's hard to make out and tell. I love the textures that you get, especially on her ear. You get a little bit of her eye there. And this next one is just so blown out, but this one itself, I really wish this one would have come out, though. Such a beautiful dog, and I like the framing a lot in this one. For this next group of shots, I really wanted to focus on texture and lighting. I used my comforter as the basis for it. It worked pretty well, I think. It wasn't as pure black, pure white as I wanted, but I was able to go back to like my noir roots. I love writing noir. I love shooting for noir. I love lighting noir. I've never been able to shoot black and white film in motion. Um, so this is a really, really great exercise for that. And it's actually an exercise I used to use when I would DP in the past. It was just really great for me to actually shoot the layout of the scene before actually filming it in motion. And I think I captured that here. So at this point, I got a little bit uh, light crazy or dark crazy. I like this one and I like the next one coming up, but a lot of it's really, really overblown. I'm sorry, really, really dark. This one's completely out of focus. And then this next set, I was just trying to mess around with the indoor lighting that I have. Like I kind of like this one. I kind of like the next one, but after that, it just gets pretty dark. Especially the last shot that you're gonna see after this. It definitely didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But again, that was the purpose of the exercise. So this next set just keeps going into just a regular indoor still life. This is my altar that I have. I really appreciated the contrast in the shadows and the shapes of the shadows in this one, particularly the previous one. And then Vault Boy, if you're familiar with him, is super blown out. This one's almost useless, and this one's pretty useless too. But even then, I do appreciate the contrast on his face and his chin. And then this is probably my favorite of this set in my super industrial apartment. I was able to capture just some good indoor depth of field focus. This image in particular is one of my favorites probably. So I took a lot of experimenting, but this next set is probably my favorite. You'll see a gradual increase in the quality of the image. I really love the framing. I used Carver's books. I love Raymond Carver. He's one of my favorites, so I used them as a subject. This next one coming up is exactly what I wanted. I think I lit it pretty well. Everything's in focus. It's a beautiful shot in my opinion. And even this next one that's super dark, I really, really love the contrast in it. Um, so you either light for shadows or you light for light, and you get what you get. I love this one, the haze factor of it, the outline of it, and then I got even more natural light in this guy, and natural light never hurt nobody. Lens flares never really hurt nobody either. So I really appreciated this set. I think this was my favorite from what I was shooting here, even with the haze, if anything, just for the lighting and the contrast. So ultimately, these are probably my favorite shots. I think these match what I was thinking or what I wanted to see, what I wanted to come out. Don't make excuses for yourself when you're shooting film. Just kind of learn from your mistakes and move on. Um, I'm excited to shoot more with non-expired film. I'm excited to shoot more with more well thought out lighting. But this is what I got, and I'm happy with these shots in particular. So I think it was a pretty successful shoot.
Okay, so that was that. Again, some good stuff, some stuff that's really grainy, but it was good for a first venture back into still image photography. I still miss film and I love film, but this is definitely filling that void right now. It feels good to get back into it. It feels good to manipulate light. It feels good to just kind of get my bearings back. So hopefully the next roll is a little bit more enjoyable, not as dark, not as grainy. The next roll will have a lot of outdoor stuff. Let's see how that goes. Lighting outdoors is definitely different from lighting indoors. I'm starting to feel like maybe some of it's a little blown out, but we'll see how that works with pushing the film. I did push the next roll from 400 to 800, so one stop, just to, again, to experiment, to mess around. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you are watching, this is for me, but I really hope that I can inspire people to go out there and shoot film. It's a lost art, there's nothing wrong with digital photography at all, but I just feel like film is different, and you just kind of seeing the world through film is a lot different than kind of seeing it through digital or through your own eyes. And I think that especially in this point in the history of the world in 2021, I think it's important to kind of look at the world through a different perspective. I used to dramatically, of course, in my college career say that I wanted to see the world in Super 16, and I mean that, but there's definitely nothing wrong with seeing it in 35 either. So again, thank you so much, and have a great day, and go out there and shoot. Just shoot whatever you can. A lot of us have phones that have amazing digital cameras in them, you know, and it's okay to just go out there and just shoot what you want to shoot, you know. Let's not forget that, because they're pretty expensive phones, and we're paying for that, you know. And maybe that'll inspire you to kind of go ahead and pick up your own 35mm camera and do what you can from there. But yeah, have a great one.